inter-cartel war raging in Mexico between two factions of the Sinaloa cartel. More than 400 people have been killed so far, with the death toll expected to increase. Hundreds have also been abducted.
Cartel survives on a billion-dollar empire of violence and fear. Disguised, hidden, and constantly evolving, cartels move billions in drugs every year. Trucks, planes, submarines, nothing is off limits. In today's video, we will be discussing one of the kings of the Mexican cartels, Mayo Zambada, his arrest, and the status update of the Sinaloa cartel. But that's not all. We will also be diving into the situation in northeastern regions of Mexico, or quite specifically, the Gulf Cartel. Ismael Mario Zambada Garcia, also known as El Mayo, was the former drug lord and the top dog of the Sinaloa cartel. This international crime syndicate is based in the Mexican state, Sinaloa. Before assuming leadership of the entirety of the Sinaloa cartel, El Mayo allegedly served as the logistical coordinator for its Zambada Garcia faction. He also happens to oversee the trafficking of cocaine and heroin into Chicago and other U.S. cities by aircraft, narco subs, container ships, fishing vessels, buses, rail cars, tractor trailers, and automobiles. On September 13, 2024, the former drug lord had his first hearing in New York. He pleaded not guilty to the accounts of drug trafficking, illegal possession of weapons, and criminal enterprise. This led to his next court hearing, which was on the 15th of January, 2025. Zambada submitted a petition report to the Mexican government requesting extradition to the country to face trial there and an intervention to rule out any death penalty. No one is defending this person, and beyond the person and his crimes, the issue is how he was detained, said President Claudia Sheinbaum regarding the petition review. The Mexican government is also investigating anyone involved in handing over a Mexican citizen to foreign agents to be charged with treason. The former drug lord Mario Zambada and Joaquin Guzman Lopez were arrested in the U.S. at a private airfield in El Paso, Texas. Zambada was reportedly unaware of the arrest, as he was lured in by Guzman Lopez under the false pretense of looking to buy property in Mexico, which ultimately led to his arrest. Zambada is married to Rosario Niebla Cardosa. He has 4 sons and 4 daughters: Maria Teresa, Miriam Patricia, Monica del Rosario, and Modesta, and 2 of his sons, Serafin Zambada Ortiz and Ismael Zambada Imperial, all had an active role in narcotics distribution and money laundering. Vicente Zambada Niebla was arrested by Mexican authorities in 2009. Vicente later cooperated with U.S. authorities, providing testimony against other cartel members. He later revealed that his father budgeted $1 million monthly for bribes and maintained a network of complicities that included banks and governments. His prison diary, released after his arrest, detailed these operations. Serafin Zambada Ortiz, also known as El Serra, was arrested and later released as of 2018. He is another of El Mayo's sons involved in the cartel's operations. The arrests of Zambada's sons highlight the ongoing legal challenges faced by the Zambada family and the Sinaloa cartel, as both Mexican and U.S. authorities continue to target high-ranking members of the organization. Mexican drug cartels have evolved into sophisticated, transnational criminal organizations that dominate the illicit drug trade in the Americas. They control approximately 70% of the foreign narcotics flow into the United States, including cannabis, cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine. The cartels have diversified their operations, engaging in activities such as extortion, kidnapping, and fuel theft to increase their profits. The Sinaloa cartel and the Jalisco New Generation cartel are currently the most powerful, with the Sinaloa cartel holding significant influence over drug trafficking routes along the Pacific coast and near Mexico's borders. The cartel's internal divisions have weakened its cohesion, with Los Mayitos and Los Chapitos vying for control over lucrative smuggling territories. This infighting has not only disrupted operations, but also made the cartel more vulnerable to external threats. The Jalisco New Generation Cartel is capitalizing on this instability, expanding its influence in key regions such as Guanajuato, Michoacán, and Guerrero. There are also reports of a potential alliance between the CJNG and Los Chapitos, which could further undermine Los Mayitos' position, particularly in Zacatecas. The Mexican government under President Claudia Sheinbaum has intensified its efforts to dismantle the cartel's fentanyl operations. Between 2021 and February 2025, authorities seized 5.4 tons of fentanyl, with 95% of seizures occurring in Sinaloa, Sonora, and Baja California, the key territories controlled by the cartel. This crackdown has forced cartel leaders to relocate or halt production, leading to significant financial losses. The Mexican government had a series of arrests, drug seizures, and lab busts targeting the Sinaloa cartel. Additionally, threats from the Trump administration to impose tariffs unless Mexico curtails the flow of fentanyl into the U.S. have added further pressure. While the Sinaloa cartel remains a significant player in the drug trade, its future is uncertain. The ongoing infighting and external pressures could lead to further fragmentation and loss of territory. If one faction manages to consolidate power, the cartel might stabilize, but this is unlikely in the short term. The rise of the CJNG poses a significant threat, as it could exploit the Sinaloa cartel's weaknesses to expand its own influence. In summary, the Sinaloa cartel is likely to face continued internal conflict, territorial losses, and increased competition from rival cartels like CJNG. The cartel's ability to adapt and consolidate power will determine its future in the volatile landscape of Mexico's drug trade. The Gulf Cartel, based in Matamoros, Tamaulipas, has been one of Mexico's dominant cartels. In the late 1990s, it hired Los Zetas as its enforcer group, but their partnership dissolved in 2010, leading to widespread violence across Tamaulipas state. Internal divisions within the CDG have resulted in infighting, particularly between the Los Metros and Los Rojos factions, weakening the cartel's overall structure. Despite this, the CDG has maintained control over key smuggling corridors into the United States. The Gulf Cartel's current war is characterized by intense intra-cartel battles and territorial disputes. The fragmentation of the CDG has led to increased violence as rival factions vie for control. This infighting has not only destabilized the cartel, but also contributed to the broader violence in Mexico as cartels compete for control over drug plazas. The Mexican government has made efforts to dismantle the CDG, capturing several of its leaders, including Ociel Cárdenas Guillén and his brothers. However, the removal of cartel leaders has often led to power struggles that exacerbate violence. The Gulf Cartel's current war reflects the broader challenges faced by Mexico in its fight against drug cartels. The fragmentation of cartels, combined with the government's aggressive strategies, has led to a cycle of violence that continues to destabilize the region. Addressing this issue requires a multifaceted approach that includes not only law enforcement, but also socio-economic reforms to undermine the cartel's power and influence. In summary, both the Sinaloa cartel and the Gulf cartel are likely to face continued internal conflict, territorial losses, and increased competition from rival cartels like the CJNG. The ability of these cartels to adapt and consolidate power will determine their future in the volatile landscape of Mexico's drug trade. The ongoing violence and government crackdowns suggest a period of significant upheaval and potential decline for these once dominant organizations. The likelihood of El Mayo returning to Mexico is slim because most of his kids reside in the US, so there is nothing tying him to Mexico currently. We will keep you posted on the latest news, so like and follow for more updates.